Happy Monday morning, Minties. This is the Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to do an advanced look at the Marvel Select Edition Thanos Rising. So, please stay tuned. Okay, now before I get the video started, I'd like to say a quick thank you to David, Gabriel, and Marvel Comics for sending me an advanced copy of the book. The book will be out at retailers like comic book stores and cheapgraphicnovels.com or in-stock trades on September 4th. And then about 3 weeks or so at places like Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So this is pretty much the same build as this book right here that I did an overview of. This is the new Marvel Select line. I also announced all the books that Marvel plans on doing in this format right here. So you have Marvel Select up at the top, edition, the title of the book that's being collected, the creative team, and then of course the character art there at the bottom. Both books retail for $24.99. So let's look at this. And actually, what I wanted to do, what I didn't do with Spider-Man was compare it to other sizes. So the book, let's look at this, and I can put Spider-Man right there, is the size of a standard size hardcover. And this is a Marvel Premiere hardcover. And it's the exact same dimensions as it. Of course, the only thing that's missing is the dust jacket. It comes with no dust jacket. Just to remind you guys, a standard size hardcover is the size of a trade paperback. Now, it looks a little bit taller because of the actual backing board here. The actual hardcover. But it is the exact same dimensions as a standard trade paperback. Now let's crack this open. I love the idea that with all the Thanos books, like the Thanos by Donny Cates book, they have the purple inside, so keeping it like that. So the creative team is Jason Aaron and Simone Bianchi. With, let's see here, Riccardo Periucci, oh my goodness, who does the inks and ink wash. And then you have the color artist. And here's the cover to book 1. Now, the creative team behind this was originally, there was another team that was supposed to do this, and it was called something else too, like Thanos, Death and Titan or something like that, when it was announced in 2012. And then by the time the book came out in 2013, the creative team had changed to Jason Aaron and Simone Bianchi. Now, what this is a retelling of the origin of Thanos. So it goes back to the days when he was a baby, when he was a kid, and takes us to when he was a teenager, and what shaped him into who he is. Now, if you're familiar with Jim Starlin's stories and are familiar with the character of Thanos, then this book kind of retcons some of that. I'm not going to go into detail about what it does, but it does retcon a little bit of what Jim Starlin had already established. But let's just keep looking at the artwork here. I think Simone Bianchi was the perfect artist for this story. Because I will say, the story is kind of dark, and there are some things that make it really terrifying. Some of the choices that he makes, now you see him as an adult here. And there are other characters that are introduced. I'm not going to spoil who they are or who they turn out to be in his life. I've always been a big fan of the way that Simone Bianchi does these silhouettes. Most people use shadows, right? Like black shadows. He uses these white shadows and outlines to kind of show that he's in the darkness and cuts them off. Oh, I don't know. That's something that I've always enjoyed about his art. It's a very unique artistic technique. But just look at those backgrounds. They're absolutely gorgeous. This particular story was a 5-issue miniseries. Like I said, it came out in 2013. It was released in an oversized format, a standard hardcover, and then a trade paperback. So it's been around, and I want to say that the trade paperback is still in print. So this is a very interesting choice for Marvel Select Thanos. And as, I don't know if you all were there when I explained what they are, and pretty much what the Marvel Select line is. It's a series of stories that were picked by Marvel Editorial to showcase these pivotal moments and storylines during a certain character's time. So it must have been a really difficult choice which Thanos stories to go with. Like I said, for Spider-Man, they chose this book right here, Ultimate Spider-Man, Power and Responsibility, which is the first 7 issues of the Ultimate Spider-Man run. So the idea is to get other people into comic books by showing them these books. So perhaps buying it for a friend or a family member if they're into Thanos, and we're a big fan of that tiny little summer movie that came out this year, Avengers Endgame. And that's practically what the idea is, to kind of get more people into comic books, which is great. But I'd love to know in the comments down below what you would have chosen as the pivotal Thanos story to tell and collect in a Marvel Select line. Because I think that's a very difficult task. I think I asked the same questions with Spider-Man. I don't know what story I would have collected, because I think sometimes the early stuff by Jim Starlin can be a little too much. Or even the stuff when he came back in the Silver Surfer run. That's a big, long storyline. So I think part of the reason they chose this is because it's contained in 5 issues. And you pretty much get everything you need to know about Thanos within those 5 issues. Like I said, it's been a little bit of a retcon, but I guess that goes with any modern retelling of an origin. Now let's look at the back here. So we have variant covers, sketches. I'm a big Bianchi fan. I don't know what he's doing these days. I like this run on Wolverine, and I loved his stuff in Seven Soldiers. And that is solid. Like I said, I think they chose the perfect artist for this book. And that's the cover to issue 1. I'll wrap around. And then the art in the back with the purple again. And I just wanted to point out again, the binding is sewn binding. So it's a really nice looking book. And that was the contents of the book. Let me know in the comments down below if you already own this, or if you plan on picking this up, or if you plan on buying this for a friend. What did you think of the story? I'd love to know all those answers, and just leave those comments down below and I will reply back. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.